Hi everybody, guess where I am? That is a city named after the grain that is the most common way human beings are nourished on the planet Earth, rice. So I'm in Rice Lake. I have some good friends that live up in this area, and I wanted to visit them during Holy Week. And here I am. Let's see if I got yeah. I got a little Easter basket from one of my good friends. Had this. Good, right? Easter egg. See, nice, good. And look at that one. This will be for my desk. I can put it on my desk. See, it's got a. I thought it was a mouse hatching out of an egg, but it's. I was told it's a lamb. See the little lamb hooves coming out of an egg. So that's worth the trip to Rice Lake. No, but it's good. It's Holy Week. I got some Parish news. Wednesday. What is it? March 28th, maybe? No, 25th, 24th, 27th, I think. Wednesday, March 27th. So my feet are in snow, so they're going to get kind of cold, I think. We had a lot of snow. What did they say in the news last night? We had, for Eau Claire anyway, it was more snow in the last 6 days than in the previous 4 months. Something like that, or the exact same amount, or something freaky like that. The meteorologist was doing the math, and he said, I wonder how much fell in the last 6 days. I wonder how much fell since October, the first snowfall. And it was the exact same, like 2.93 or something like that inches of moisture, like water, melted snow, I think. Anyway, blessed Holy Week to everybody. If you're checking in on Holy Week, happy Easter. If you're checking in after March 31st. Got some Parish news, I guess. Maybe we'll start out with a little Holy Week. It's one of my favorite Holy Week icons. So I think I've explained this before, but it's Christ entering his passion. It's Christ as he's, arrested and taken in, and then the guards mock him and they dress him up like a king with a crown of thorns and a scepter and will scourge him. So Christ in prison. I think most Western Catholics like myself and probably most viewers would maybe call this Christ in prison, or Christ in chains, or Christ's passion. It's actually called, see the back here, Christ the Nympheus, translated to English as the Bridegroom. So it's really beautiful theology. It comes from the Eastern Church. He's like Greek Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, Eastern Christianity. And it's that Jesus' whole goal of becoming human was to reconcile humanity to himself, to God, and to heal the wound of sin, and to open the way to eternal life, to create communion between the divine and the human. And what better way to symbolize that than as a wedding? Basically marrying humanity, becoming one with us as husband and wife. That's why sometimes even in the Western Church, we sometimes use the pronoun her when we talk about the church, because it's like the bride of Christ. So that's where that comes from. And so really, Good Friday, or the death of Jesus, is considered like the wedding, and so he's getting ready for his wedding. He's entering in. Now is the hour for the Son of Man to be glorified. Now is the hour. I'm getting ready. And so what seems as suffering, and is a sign to us that he wants to be one with us. He's willing to undergo death and torture because his people undergo death and suffer a lot. And to be really one with us, it's one thing just to decree, I love you and I'm one with you. It's another thing to be there when your spouse is sick, to be there when someone needs a ride, to So he's going to be there because he goes to the depth of our suffering, not just a distant love from afar, but a love that's right with us. So the bridegroom, Jesus marrying his people on the cross. Okay, so that's a little theology teaser. We'll go back to parish news. So our PCCW, our women's group, is sponsoring the executive director of Fierce Freedom will come and speak at St. James on April 4th. That'd be a Thursday at 6:30 p.m., I assume in the gathering space. Maybe church, but anyway, show up and you'll find the space. And Fierce Freedom is a organization in Eau Claire that fights human trafficking and tries to help people that might be victims of human trafficking. So our PCCW has a good long tradition of being active in that issue. It's really a beautiful thing. I suppose more women than men are human trafficked. I think it goes both ways, certainly. I mean, I think boys are as well as girls. Anyway, they're really hoping to get a good showing of people because they've had the speaker before who's excellent. I forget the name, but local person who heads up the organization, Fierce Freedom. And they're hoping to get women in their 30s and 40s, a younger set that might benefit and be inspired by the speaker. So that's good. This week, Holy Week, pizza. Feast before the fast. If you go to Festival Foods by any chance, you might get a receipt. If it's got a coupon on the back that says $1.50 off your buffet meal, bring it with you when you come, if you can come. So we'll gather by 5. Sharon's always a little more merciful maybe than I would be. I like everybody there by 5, then we count and then we pay. And if you come after 5, you're welcome to come. But then you wouldn't get... So we collect $5 from everybody. So if you could be there like 4:45, we kind of just gather up in the lobby there. I've reserved a big room, and so the Pizza Ranch there on Truax in North Claremont, across the street from Menards. I do hope, that we can mingle and mix. I think Ellen's got a plan where there's some playing cards you'll get when you walk in. If you get a 4 of clubs, you look for a table or a spot that has a 4 on it, and that's where you'd sit and kind of to mix it up a little bit. Maybe meet some folks you don't know. Have a good time. Build community a little bit. And so the idea, of course, is that then you'd celebrate the Mass of the Lord's Supper at 7. Everybody might not be able to. You're certainly welcome to come for the pizza if you don't go to Mass. But that's the idea, the feast before the fast. We fill up, we enjoy community, and then we enter into the Lord's Passion with the Mass of the Lord's Supper and begin the Paschal fast that night through Good Friday and then through the Easter Vigil, right? So make those days of prayer, maybe eating a little less, whatever we can do to focus our attention, right? To enter the Lord's Passion. The big buzzword is Paschal mystery. You hear it a lot in the prayers at this time. And to participate in the Lord's Paschal mystery. I struggle every year. If you feel like, what's he talking about? You may have a better grip on the Paschal. I know it has to do with dying and rising. But I thought in terms of, I wrote down some tips, how we might this year, this Holy Week, participate in the Lord's Paschal mystery. Now, if we just look at Holy Thursday, I love the gospel reading, the washing of the feet, and I love a line in there. It said, knowing Jesus, knowing he had come from God and was going to God, he rose from the table, put a towel around his waist, and began to wash his disciples' feet. And I like that, knowing he'd come from God and was going to God. So the big picture, our awareness that we are blessed, we're from God. This whole life is a gift from God, or we're about our lives' meaning is about giving glory to God, trying to respond to his call. And we see some of what that call is. It's about service. As I've washed your feet, you must wash one another's. But to start with that sense of the big picture, that I've come from God and I'm going to God. This is the passage. Paschal mystery has to do with a passage from death to life, And so I was thinking, for me, with when I try the big picture, I try to think of gratitude. What are the real things to be grateful for in life, and what are the struggles sometimes that helps me focus the trajectory of my life, where I'm at in life, what to be grateful for, what I am struggling with, what I have struggled with, how God has carried me through struggles to this present moment, whether I realized it or not. The old Footprints in the Sand poem comes to mind. Being carried through struggle to new beginnings in life and Paschal mystery. So that's kind of Holy Thursday, and then the Paschal mystery continues with the dying of Jesus, and on Good Friday. And there, what are the struggles? Where have I been hurt? Where have I hurt others? Where is there violence in the world? Has there been violence in my life? Have I committed violence in a real direct way, or maybe more of a sort of an indirect way, but hurt others? How have I been hurt by others? Just as Jesus was being scourged and tortured and going to his death, have I been hurt? Can I participate in the Paschal mystery and Jesus dying by sympathizing with his hurt and realizing times I've been hurt by others, just by life, where I have suffered? Maybe I have a disease that's painful. I do remember, and I've heard this from lots of other folks too, but for my first year as a priest, I took communion to a woman who's, I don't know what her condition was, but if she touched anything, it would hurt. And she said, I just have such pain in my body, and I know the Lord suffered for us, but sometimes I say, forgive me, Lord, but you suffered for 3 hours. I am. This is every day for like 30 years. But that's part of it. The joining our suffering to Jesus' suffering, and by choice. Do I suffer by choice? In a good way. I'm willing to lay down my life for others, and that inconveniences me and maybe hurt me and maybe have less money because of it. But Jesus is suffering for the salvation of the world. Do we ever suffer for the salvation of others, to help others? So then we're participating in the Paschal mystery there. And Easter, Easter is always it's eternal life, and it's passing through. Maybe we could think of times when we've been carried through hard times to new life and appreciate that. Maybe it's recognizing that even when things are really hard, the cold, the cold stone tomb of life, to know that whenever we try to do an act of love, we're in communion with God, who is love. And there's a for me anyway, that doesn't always make me feel good, but it lifts my spirit and say, well, this isn't maybe as complicated as I make it. I can pass through death to life by recognizing my purpose to love others. And when I do that, to know that even in a hard spot, if I'm in a hard spot in life, I'm in communion with God. And that's a pretty good thing to be able to say, right? Lifts my spirits. And then a lot of it is trust. Just to trust in the glory that awaits God's faithful ones. St. Paul says real clearly, if we died with Christ, we will rise with him. If we say my life's not just about me, it's about serving God and God's interest, to love the world, and then I'll rise with him, and it might not feel like it every day, but to lean into that trust. So to me, those things are a little bit like trusting in participating in the Paschal mystery with our lives. It's not just a movie that we're watching. It's a thing to experience ourselves, right? So anyway, just some thoughts on that. Let's get back to some brass tacks parish news. Well, maybe I kind of did it. I don't know. Well, I'll just say so Mass of the Lord's Supper is at 7 p.m. And it'll be beautiful. I hope people can go. It's such a beautiful liturgy. They were decorating for that this afternoon. Hope they didn't need me. They used to need me to put that white cloth over the. Father Shevs did that at Newman once when I was there, and both in Menominee and St. James. It was so moving the first time I saw it. So basically there's the crucifix. We put a white cloth of sort of satiny, very smooth, over the shoulder of Jesus, and it's kind of like he rose from table, put a towel around his waist to have that kind of look. And then at the end of Mass, we pull that off, and it kind of flutters down on the altar, and then we wrap the Blessed Sacrament with that and process out of church, and it's really, really beautiful, I think. So that'll happen at the end of that Mass. And then the Triduum will resume. That one liturgy over 3 days will resume at 1 o'clock on Friday. Good Friday, the Lord's Passion. And then on Saturday, the Easter Vigil will be at 8. And, you know, I just think it's great. If you can gather, come at 7:30, stand outside by the fire that's burning. And we'll have some beautiful choir, beautiful initiations. We're actually going to have a wedding at the Easter Vigil. One of the new initiates is being confirmed. We're gonna do the Catholic marriage rite, which you think, oh gosh, another half hour. No, it's just going to be like 5 minutes, but it'll be beautiful, I think. So, if it's already 2.5 hours long, what's 5 minutes, right? So obviously there's a time commitment there if you'd like to participate, especially in the Easter Vigil, but, it's good. I think it's well worth it if you have the opportunity. I don't know, maybe the other stuff isn't really brass tacks parish news. Maybe I talked about the PCCW. The Holy Thursday Mass, you're welcome to bring food. In the past couple of years, I think maybe with COVID, since we weren't washing the feet, we thought, what else service can we do? And so we'll have people bring food. So we did, and it was a great success. So if you like to bring food on Holy Thursday as an act of service, by all means, leave it in the gathering space. We'll get it to St. Francis Food Pantry. But because we didn't really put the word out, we're not going to have that as a ritual. We won't have like we do at Thanksgiving. Everybody brings up food to the altar. We won't do that, but by all means, bring it. I will be a week from today, God willing. You can never know the future for sure. I'll be in a Jesuit retreat house in Gloucester, Massachusetts, called Eastern Point, for an 8-day silent retreat. I'll meet with the director and talk to him. I think it's a Jesuit priest. I'm open to having a lay woman director too. It's just, I hope it's someone who knows the spiritual exercise as well of St. Ignatius, and of course it will be. So pray for me. I'll pray for you, but this is not just a rest up kind of retreat. This is like take a good look at life and God's movement in my life and God's call in my life, and starts with God's love and how God is delighted in who I am as a person, but then it moves to sin and taking a look at sin in life and call, being sent, and so it's really, I hope it's intense. The whole point is it's a big milestone birthday in my life, so I wanted to do something special. I was really originally going to go to the Holy Land with the group, but we had to cancel that. So I'll be there. So if you would pray for me, I'd sure appreciate it, and I'll count on those prayers. And what to pray for? I think, I don't know, maybe courage to take a good, honest look at things. Maybe pray that I have a director. Pray for my director, that he or she be say what needs to be said and be perceptive with what's going on in my soul and my heart, and lead me in a way that will be good for me, because what's good for me is good for the parish, because I'll try to lead out of that spirit, right? I've never really taken a retreat more seriously. I always love retreats and praying and spending time in quiet, but this is kind of a special one. So good. So thanks for that. So Father Parr will be coming in my absence the next 2 weekends. Used to teach at Regis, very popular. People that know him love him. I don't know if there's a more popular priest. You mention his name and he goes, "Oh, what a great guy!" So, welcome to him. We did have let's see, Barbara. I went to the Chrism Mass yesterday. The weather was terrible, but the road stayed good my whole way, so I was glad. But Bishop Callahan, it was kind of his fond farewell to us and thanking us for being great priests. The priests renew their vows at the Chrism Mass, would bring home the holy oils. I feel like I should take a pencil and paper. You're always welcome to do that at church. Bring a pencil and pen to write down insights you might have while you're praying. I wish I had one, because the bishop was saying some interesting things, and I just can't remember any, But the general tone was that this was his last Chrism Mass, and he won't be ordaining the new priest this year because we'll have a new bishop, and so it'll be his last big liturgy in a cathedral. So we wish Bishop Callahan well, and I talked more about him last week and the new bishop coming in, Bishop Gerard Battersby. He'll be installed as the bishop on May 20th, on Monday. Okay. HSHS. So, I'm sorry I didn't mention that more last week. I mentioned it a little bit, but it didn't quite. It was Wednesday, and then Thursday was the last Mass in the Sacred Heart Hospital chapel. I ran into Father Schultz Wednesday night, so after the chat, so I didn't quite realize the import of the next day. And apparently it wasn't that well attended, it wasn't that well advertised, but it was a beautiful Mass, and then they removed the Blessed Sacrament, and very somber, very sad, I think. And I'm sorry I missed being there. Used to preside at Mass there on Sunday morning sometimes, about once a month for 7 years when I was with Father Chevs during the school year. The main parish with children would be out at St. Bede's having the family program Mass, and then I would take the 9:30 Mass at Sacred Heart Hospital Chapel. And Newman stopped doing that a couple years ago, I think. But so I had some history there. It would have been, but mine is, minor. It's mainly the Father Klimek, there for 45 years, and all the people that would come there when their relatives were sick or dying or had just died. And sacred space. And Father Klimek lived in the apartment right outside of the chapel, and so many stories of him just appearing out of the blue when people needed it most and saying what people needed to hear. They call him the saint, and that was for a good reason. It wasn't because not that he didn't have a great personality and all that, but it wasn't because of a booming personality or incredible scholar, or it was because he's a good man and he had a deep compassion for people that were hurting, and could influence things with people in power. They respected him, I think. So, anyway, employees and patients. So Father Klimek was so much. It was more than that, of course, the sisters and all the lay people. And last week I mentioned just how saddened so many of the employees who said, this is so great to work at a Catholic hospital and we believe in their mission, and then just to have it pulled out from under them. Very frustrating. There is going to be a Mass at St. James, and I actually got some negative feedback on that a while ago from someone who said, I know it's not you doing it, but why are we having a massive celebration? Everybody's hurting that it's closed. And so the quote was, Father Schultz had been chaplain there, and he just wanted to inform the clergy what was going on. And he must have got this from the administrators or people that are organizing it. And he said so on Friday, April 5th, at 11 o'clock, Bishop Callahan's supposed to come for this. I will not be. I'll be in Massachusetts on that retreat. He's going to come for a Mass. And it said the purpose of this Mass is to offer, quote, a Mass of celebration to give thanks to all who have impacted and served HSHS Sacred Heart Hospital, HSHS St. Joseph Hospital, Chippewa Falls, over the past 140 years, end quote. And in bold type below that, Father wrote that all are invited to attend. I think that was the initial message, and then we were hearing, no, it's just for employees. So it was in bold in this email I got from Father, so I think it's clear. I can say that. Everybody is welcome to attend that Friday at 11 o'clock. Nick is working on music for that, working hard. Christine's always so good to have because she's always behind the scenes doing what needs to be done, and she's making sure that'll run well. Pray for the bishop's good health, that he can come up. I'm sure Father Kaczynski will step in if the bishop can't, and he's always so articulate and well-spoken and compassionate, so that'll be fine either way. Maybe you saw Christine. I posted on our Facebook page. The Sacred Heart Hospital had a QOW did a 30-minute documentary that's online. I had actual trouble finding it, but it's up there on our parish Facebook page, or you can hunt around for it. I don't know. Call the office. We'll send you a link. It's good. And Christine's in it. She spoke very, very well. She's a very articulate, smart person, as you know. So maybe that's about it. Maybe I'll close with the closing blessing for Good Friday. I just really like the way that it's worded. I'll let you look at Rice Lake as we enter into these holy days. Maybe we'll see it at the Feast Before the Fast, or Mass of the Lord's Supper, Good Friday, the Lord's Passion, Easter Vigil, or Easter morning. So through your observance, through your prayer, through your acts of charity, through your remembrance of the Lord's Passion, your participation in the Paschal mystery, the quote is this: through these things, may pardon come, comfort be given, holy faith increase, and everlasting redemption be made secure. God bless you, everybody.